And whoa, look at Magoo. Magoo streaks into the...
Thorpe's got past Geboers. They lock handlebars as they go through, but Thorpe's done.
Here comes Bradshaw to the outside of Bale. He takes over the number 2 position, and Bradshaw is not done.
That's the chance for a leader to get away, but also the chance for the guy at the back of the field to pass as many as possible. See the bike streaming over the top of this tabletop jump, the boost of the dirt flying up. Also important here is to keep away. That's George Gervais passing Leo Combi there over that jump forward to him.
As you get airborne, throttle off.
Yeah, throttle off momentarily, but always bring it back on before you hit the ground to drive the bike smoothly.
And yes, you don't want it dragging it back and tending to skid the back wheel with no speed on it all.
No, it really smoothens the landing out if you can bring the power on as you land around. Jackie Martin's there, the KTM pilot number 9. Very tall guy, as you can see, trying to get himself forward around the corner. And that's Billy Liles, actually riding under a Luxembourg license, but he's actually an American, the only American in the field.
Kawasaki.
That's a Kawasaki machine, carrying past Jackie Martin's. Oh, a bit of a kicker there. Suspension, obviously taking the...
Could have been big trouble.
Could have been very, very difficult for him, yes. Carrying the front wheel. When that weight is transferred to the front over jumps, it steepens up the steering angle immensely on the front end. And you only got to turn it slightly and over the bars you go. Billy Liles, they're trying very hard. He's a very good rider, used to be a factory.
He won, scored points in the World Championship.
Look at leisk here, he's really pushing hard. He's got a tremendous lead going for very, very early in the race. He's obviously tried to get out there and break their confidence, really get in front of them and psych them out. You can see there's a big gap behind, turning the bike in the air, getting it down on the ground, driving away hard.
He really does seem to have the ability and/or the determination to do that if he can just keep it together.
At the start of this year, that would have been very hard to expect him to win on the first year, although a lot of people say he'll win, but that's a lot to ask because these riders have been in Europe racing on these tracks for years and years. It's very hard to ask leisk only after 3 years overseas in America to get there. Billy Liles getting pressured there by Jackie Martin Thorpe, and it was a hard race for him, but he's really pushing hard to come forward this time. You can see leisk there with his head forward over the bike. In the sandy corners, you've got to balance yourself between having your weight forward too much and keeping the power on early to drive the front wheel in the sand. You get off the power too quickly, the front end will plow as they pull into the sand, tuck it under and you go over the handlebars very easily.
You were saying that they tried and keep the average speed down, but for FIM sanctioning, what's the maximum average speed they want on the track?
50 kilometres per hour. He has been knee tears or knee ligament problems, myself with anterior cruciate ligaments, and it's a real problem. You can see leisk in that corner, something interesting. He's changed his line, he's squaring the corner off now, flowing underneath the very whooped out bumps and making himself drive harder down the straightaway.
So let's come up past the knee then, what else?
Well, the nylons is a flame-proof protective nylon, very light, very cool, allow the air to flow through over these long 40 minutes plus 2-lap races. Jerseys are all a cotton type of jersey. Usually most riders have plastic protection around the shoulders.
On to 8 Liles.
Geboers is pushing very hard. You can see he's very determined. His fitness is coming through. We're getting into the moto a fair bit now. He's pushing hard and getting past Billy there with a very determined look. Even so, there's last year's world champion. We'll probably psych him out a little bit, so he'll tend to settle in, maybe and say third is better than second. Here we go. Here's Geboers. Weight centered over the bike, trying to get himself to flow over those bumps. You can see he's very smooth, pushing very like the Arrive, the Bell, the Iffy are designed very lightly so that the air can flow through them to keep the riders cool. You can see now Geboers has pushed very hard. He's catching up to leisk. Leisk may be waning a little bit with his fitness. He might be getting a little bit tired. Maybe also seeing that Geboers is coming, Peter Laskowski in the pit will be telling him, and he's trying hard, maybe trying too hard in some areas, and sort of starting to, as we call it, flap on the bike a little bit. And Geboers is smooth, pushing hard, and you can see leisk is flapping a little bit, pushing very hard, and actually Geboers' pit will be telling him where Thorpe is.
Oh, and look at leisk going there. The bike kicking and dancing everywhere as he knows the pressure's on.
And he'll be pushing very hard, Geboers, because he knows Thorpe is back. But this is his chance to get a lead. Another 3 points in front of him.
He's well back at this stage. He's got 20 points. leisk has 15 so far. Geboers got only 3 in that first moto.
He can
Even his second place here, if he sticks in second, if he doesn't get first, he'll not get him up past Leisk.
You can see the different size of the riders here. Eric, the kid, you can see here he jumps out a little bit further than he was before. He knows the pressure is on.
How do you monitor what's going on behind you, how far the guy's getting? You just keep screwing the throttle?
Well, no, you look back at some of the corners, some of the tighter turns, you can just check behind you without wasting too much time.
And you can check across a bit.
That's right, across the circuit. But here, he knows Geboers there. He can hear that 500cc machine.
That's become a jump in those S's, which wasn't a jump before.
No, the whooped out Sandy can...
Unbelievably tense with the thought that he might lose this moto to the world champion.
With Geboers coming in very hard, that thought would be definitely crossing his mind. But I think now he'd be trying to overcome those thoughts, thinking about his line on the track, trying to get his flow going, being smooth and really pushing hard so that he can maintain that lead.
Is he a good man under pressure?
Yes, he is. He's had a lot of pressure over the years, and in America, where he's spent the last 3 years, he's had a lot of pressure from some very good riders.
So close now, this battle for the lead. The 10th moto for the season. There's 24 of them, each roughly the distance of the World Championship Road Racing Grand Prix. From Eric for a Geboers. So close after such a long time of racing. Whoa.
See Leisk using that wide line there and Geboers diving underneath. It really looks a bit unusual there because it looked as though Geboers were going to make the passing move. You could see they came out at the same, just pull out everywhere and go by because there was really only 1 or 2 quick lines on the track like this.
And behind this tremendous battle for the lead, Leisk on 18, Geboers on 1, is Georges Roubaix and Billy Liles, ones that we saw earlier battling with Geboers and leading him briefly. Kurt Nickel on the Kawasaki's in 5th.
Yeah, this pair has pulled out quite a substantial lead and probably a 5-second break there, which is really going to tell them back there that we're going to settle for 3rd, 4th or 5th and they're not going to get to the leaders unless something very unusual happens. You can see Eric Geboers there really lofting that front wheel over those deep holes that are forming in that rutted corner. The kidney belt built into the nylon so the whole thing does up together. Leisk there still keeping his flow going, keeping himself forward. That different line that I talked about earlier, he's squaring off that turn and then squaring off this turn to come onto the main straight with more speed, and you can see the bike dug into the ground and a lot of
time now. Well into the final 2 laps of this second moto. Leisk on 18, reaching up there to his goggles.
Yes, actually, the goggle that he uses has got an electric sensitive switch on it. The champion here is in the making, and they're going to support him as much as possible. Geboers, they're jumping a little bit wide on that jump and going a little bit too wide, actually offline slightly. That will lose him some tenths of seconds.
He almost made it to me. I mean, not only in the width of the track, but later on, seemingly. And then Leisk kicks out sideways. A lot of power on there as he just started to get it on. Again, 2 very different lines. Both work pretty well.
Yes, Geboers follow the outside berm, as they call it, that build-up of soft sand on the outside of the circuit. A rut is more a single-width tyre groove around the track that they hook into and sometimes, although everyone has to be in the race. But these guys, and his 40 top riders, all Geboers on the last lap trying very hard on the inside of the corner. Leisk coming across to take the checkered flag behind the sign, and Geboers just idling over there to get the victory. There's Leisk, very, very happy, coming to his mechanic, Peter Laskowski. A lot of happiness.